So at the top of your page, put number 8. Let's talk about something called a unit price. So if you want to write this down on your paper. So it's the cost for one. It might be 1 ounce. It might be 1 apple. It might be 1 pound. It depends upon the context of what it is. It is the price per one thing. So what you have to always do is you want to take the price, so whatever the amount is. And so then you have to clarify if you're getting out dollars or cents, divided by the number of things you have. So I always think about price divided by number or quantity. Now, it's very important that if you go shopping, you are able to compare those things. Many times if you buy something in large quantities, you are going to spend less, but then you also have to think about, am I going to waste those items? So let's take a look at what they're telling us right here. Okay. In this example, you can see this yogurt container. It says that there are 4, that they kind of would read that as for $1.88. So it says, Pat saw this price marked on a carton of yogurt. It seemed like a good price, but Pat only wanted to buy 1 carton. How much would 1 carton cost? So do you see how it is price divided by the quantity? So you always have to remember, in your calculator, you're going to put the price in first, okay? So you divide the price by the quantity. It won't usually come out even. It usually comes out kind of wonky. Most of the time in money, we go to the nearest penny. But usually it depends upon the context. If it's such a small amount per item, sometimes I've seen it where they even go to the nearest tenth. So please just follow whatever instructions they give you. So this first section here, they do give you instructions to round to the nearest cent. And even though it looks like you should do 5 divided by 1, you should not. Okay, so in your calculator, that means I have the quantity of 5 items for $1. But you have to put into your calculator 1 divided by 5. You would get 0.20. Okay, make sure you put the dollar symbol. Okay, so that means that each item is 20 cents. So make sure that even though they're listed like that, you're doing the division in the opposite order that you see on that page. So number 2, let me talk about that one because it comes out kind of strange. If you put into your calculator 0.99 divided by 4, you get, let's talk about what you get. You get 0.2475. But they say to round to the nearest cent. So the cent spot is that second item. That 4 in this particular case. So use your rounding rules. If the number behind it is 5 or greater, we're going to round up. So the 7 is behind it, so we're going to round up to a 25. So I want to see your answer with the dollar symbol. I want to see the dollar symbol and 0.25. And you can even write the word each is a good way to remind you of what you're given, what that means. If they're 4 for 99 cents, they're around, but not exactly 25 cents each, okay? So that's what you're doing for that first section. Pretty straightforward, okay? Now let's talk about some of these word problems right here. So now let's talk about 7 through 10. We'll do 7, then you'll be able to do the other ones. It says, Randy wants a can of frozen orange juice. The price is marked as 3 for $2.89 on the can. How much will 1 cost? That's your unit price. So remember, in your calculator, you're going to put $2.89 divided by 3. Make sure you put that decimal point in there to indicate where the dollars and cents are separated. Your calculator is going to read something funky. The instructions say to round to the nearest cent. So we're going to take that second place as a 6. Right behind it is a 3. Since it's less than 5, we keep it 0.96. So what will 1 cost? Put your dollar symbol. That's technically, we would say it 96 cents. And another way to write it, you could write it like that. You could do 96 with the little cent symbol, the C with the little slash through it, either of those I would accept as a correct answer. Okay, so everybody understand what you're doing for that unit price section. It's very quick, but always price divided by quantity. If you don't do it in that order, you're going to get the wrong answer. Do we have any questions about number 8? Unit price is important just because when you're trying to get the best value. Some stores, if you look on the little label that's on the rack, it sometimes says that it's 8 cents per ounce, or so they sometimes give you a unit price, and then you want to choose the less one, and keep in mind you don't want to waste your items. Okay, so everybody good for 8? If you want to flip your paper over, or if you think you have enough room, put number 9. Let's talk about that one. So if you're talking about produce, and you're talking about what's given, most of the time, like if you go into a store and you look at, in this case, they said bananas. Now, they are also, if you want to write on the top of your paper this fact right here, that a kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. That is roughly the conversion if that's possible. We'll do one of those if we have to. But what you have to remember is for buying produce, if they give you the unit price, you're going to multiply by the quantity. So your cost is going to be the unit price times the quantity. So you're also, it's technically you're kind of going in the exact opposite way that you did for section number 8. Section number 9, to find out what you're going to the price, you're going to go the opposite way. So let's look at their example. It says that bananas cost 89 cents a pound. If you want to buy 5 pounds, see what they did? They just multiplied. So 89 cents times 5. Put in your calculator as that 0.89, and then round to the nearest penny is possible. Let's take a look at the difference, though, in problem number 2. That says 5 kilograms. The price is given in pounds, so each kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Watch what you have to do first. What I would do, I wouldn't do it quite this way, at least for my brain. I'll show you how I think is better. 5 kilograms, if I get it right, 5 kilograms, if you multiply by 2.2, you just get the pounds. I think that's the easier way to go. So 5 times 2.2 is 11 pounds. I'd have no idea why you would need 11 pounds of bananas, but whatever. So 11 pounds, they each cost 89 cents. So quantity times the price. So 11 times 0.89 is the total, $9.79. Now, see how they got $9.80? It's because of the way they converted. So if you make it pounds first and then multiply by the unit price, or if they converted the opposite way, I'm going to know that. And if it's a cent off, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay? So let's do one. I want to jump to some of these problems here, okay? I want to do one that says pounds, and then I want to do ones that says kilograms, okay? So let's take a look at this one. First thing you want to ask yourself is, do these units match? See how they both say pounds? If they both say pounds, you just multiply them. So I am buying 4 pounds for $1.69 each. Just multiply 4 times $1.69. So that would be $6.76. So number 2, you just multiply them, okay? But let's jump to number 3 for just a minute. It says that it is 3 pounds, but it's $4.59 per kilogram. So if we're going pounds, sorry, there's a delay there. If we're going pounds to kilograms, we have to divide by 2.2. If we go from kilograms to pounds, we're going to multiply by 2.2. Now, that's kind of in a science class, that conversion's helpful. So Pounds to kilograms, we divide by 2.2. Why? Well, pound is smaller. So think about your weight. If you weigh 150 pounds, you divide by 2.2, it's going to seem like you're going to weigh less kilograms. You're going to weigh 70 some kilograms, okay? Kilograms to pounds, we're going from the larger thing to the smaller thing. Then we always multiply. So that's important that you know how to do that, okay? So I would write that somewhere on your paper, that pounds to kilograms, you divide, kilograms to pounds, you multiply. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's do number 3. 3 pounds, so 2.2 pounds is a kilogram. 3 pounds is a little more than 1, so let's divide this by 2.2 first. So we can change that to kilograms. Pounds to kilograms, we divide by 2.2. So 3 divided by 2.2. I'm going to keep that decimal value out a little bit so that I'm a little more accurate. 1.3636. We'll go 4. I don't know. I just keep it out. Sometimes I'll even just leave the number in my calculator. So what do we always do? Once they match, it's just a multiplication. Quantity times price. So if I just multiply that by 459, I get, my calculator is reading 6.25909. Okay. I need nearest penny. So we're going to take that 5, and because there's a 9 after it, make it a 6.
So what you did was multiply the 459 times the 1.
Yes, I'll write that down, thank you. So we know it's 1.3636, whatever our calculator says. You can just leave that in your calculator, and then we're going to multiply that by 459. Quantity times price, or price times quantity, however you want to think about it. So if we're going from pounds to kilograms, we divide first. So number 4, divide by 2.2. Whatever you get, multiply by the price per kilogram. Okay. If they match, like number 2, they both say pounds, you just get to multiply. Okay. So let's just look. 4, you have to convert, divide by 2.2. They match in number 5, just multiply. 6, you got to convert. 7, you got to convert. 8, they match, so you just get to multiply. So if the units match, you just get to multiply. If they don't match, you have to convert. Okay. Now let's look at, so these are all the same. If they match, multiply. If they don't, convert first. Okay. Let's talk about this section. So again, here, see how they say pounds? These, almost every one of them say pounds. The only ones you have to convert are F and G. Those are the only ones you have to convert, okay? So this is your job to work on these, and I'll come around and help, or we can do any you want on the board together. If you have a question, I can write it on the board for you, okay? So, and feel free, if you want to sit next to someone and talk it through and work together, I'm good with that.